Yo, good afternoon. Happy Friday, and welcome to the debut, the first edition, episode. I don't know why I waited till week 5 to do this, but sometimes ideas take a while. They come in your sleep. The top rung, baby. Exclusively dedicated to betting ladder plays, because who doesn't like to do that? Truthfully, there are some people who don't enjoy fun, and that's fine, but we're going to go straight ladder plays in this video, in this show. And I'm going to bring on some great guests every single week. Today, Mitch Carl, DFSnDonuts. This guy's absolutely blowing up. One of the smartest, sharpest bettors I know. Going to feed us the goods. And my old, very old good friend, Davis Mattek, will be joining us after that as well to break it all down. So stick around. We've got a fun show coming up. Not only that, look, when you think about ladders, right, and you think about betting parlays and you think about long shots and all of that, you can still do that with ladder plays in, dare I say, a more disciplined respect. I'm not saying it's the most disciplined respect to bet on football, but if you think about it, you can take 100+ ladder or alt prop, and the guy finishes with 90. Now you're miserable, right? You hate life because you just took a 100-yard ladder. He got that, let's say 90. I bet the ladder on AJ Brown the other week up to 110. He finished with 109. Had I just bet 110, I'm furious. However, in this case, you bet the standard prop, right? Then you bet him at maybe 70, 80, 90, 100, all the way up to the top rung, right? Hence the name of the show. So what you can do is, say you were going to bet like 1.1 units to win a unit. I'll just take the 1.1 units and I'll just divvy them up across the ladder. So for those of you, before we get into it, who aren't familiar with how ladder plays work, I have so many comments being like, man, I wish my book offered ladder plays. No fault of your own. You don't know. Books don't offer if they let you parlay the 50 to 60, 70, and 80, that'd be pretty wild and didn't attach correlation. But all it is you're betting individual spots, incrementally going up the ladder. Here, let ChatGPT break it down for you. I'm Dave Loughran, by the way. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Appreciate you guys. Typically only seeing you in video form, not live. And if you're watching live on X, hit me with a retweet, quote tweet, like it, whatever you want to do. Everything goes a long way. So a ladder bet is you're just betting a single line. Say players, instead of doing that, 54.5, you're placing multiple bets on higher alternate lines. That's why it's called a ladder. You're incrementally climbing the rungs of the ladder. So you'd start with the 54.5. That's where your biggest bet will be, right? I want everyone to know this before we dig in. Then the alt lines. So you want to bet 70+, you want to bet 90+, you want to bet 100+. You do that, you get incrementally higher, but the allocation of unit size goes down. So smaller bets as the odds get longer. It's that simple. So if you hit the 54.5, right? All that means is, all right, so hopefully you've structured it in a way that you'll at least break even, maybe a small profit. If you hit 3 or 4 on the rung, you're having a great day. If you hit all 4, you're having a wonderful day. So that is the simplest way to think about this. Let's dive into it. I'll bring Mitch and Davis on in just a little bit, and we will have some fun. But I want to get to one that I like quite a bit. And if you guys have any that you like, hit me up in the chat, hit me up in the comments over on X, and I'll be happy to take all of those questions. The big fudge, I'm intrigued. I hope you are, man. This is fun. It's a fun way to bet. Anybody who hasn't bet ladders before, welcome, because it's a very fun way to bet, and also potentially not just lose your ass because you're betting a 8-to-1 parlay with no recourse if one leg doesn't hit. Right now, it's entirely possible that none of the ladder legs hit, but if they hit the standard minus 110, then oftentimes you're at least coming out with a slight profit. All right, so we'll get into all of this. I want to give you one that I like quite a bit. And then when I bring Mitch and Davis on, I have a little segment that we're going to call Blood in the Streets. If you're familiar with the famous Baron Rothschild quote, buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. It's been attributed to him. I don't know who actually said it, but that's what they say. I found a couple guys who have been absolutely dreadful lately. And we have seen their ladders and just their prop lines in general. The odds have exploded to the point where if this is the bounce back week, I want a piece of it. Doesn't have to be a big piece, but you best believe I want a piece of it. So the first one that I want to look at, and I posted this over on Tails show sponsored by Tails. That is our betting platform. All the content, all the bets over there are 100% free. So use the link in the description. Come follow me. We've hit some bangers over the past couple of weeks for those of you guys who hang out in Tail, but it's free. No credit card, nothing like that. All of the content, all of the bets for any sport that you want, you can just follow whoever you want, get those bets every day. It's like Twitter, except you don't have to sort through all the garbage on Twitter, right? Like on Tails, it's only bets. That's it. Nothing else. On Twitter, if you accidentally clicked on the wrong post one time and engaged with it, guess what you're getting fed for the next 6 months, right? Good luck finding any bets. Over on Tails, it's all free. It's all bets, no credit card, just a free account. Come follow us, hit me up. This is one that I posted, and it's a Rashad White ladder up to 40. Why not, right? Think about this for a second. You've got a guy in Bucky Irving who's going to be out this week. And Rashad White, I mean, Sean Tucker will get some work for sure. I think Rashad White can get worked into this one for sure, man. Like not just worked into it, but into the passing game significantly. So I went back to 2023 when he was the lead back. And by God, look what I found. When he was the lead back, he cleared this number, 21.5, right? So we're just starting at the first rung. We're just starting at basics. 22 yards is what we'd need. Cleared it 14 of 17 times, ran a route on 80% of dropbacks and had a 13% target share. You also have no Mike Evans. Of course, you have Emeka and Buka, but still, this is a Seahawks team that's allowed 29 receptions. That's the most in the league to running backs, 266 receiving yards, most in the league to opposing running backs through 4 weeks. So I laddered it up to 40 because you're getting this a big number over on Bet365. Ladder it up to 40. So I bet the 21.5 standard, put 0.55 units on that. And then the 30 was 0.35. And then the 40 was 0.2. See what I mean? Get it up to what you would typically bet on a standard bet. You guys can do it any way you want. That's the way I prefer to do it. Now, again, that one's over on Tails. I need your guys' thoughts on this next one, though. I desperately need some thoughts on this next one because I am pulling my hair out, figuring out what to do with this guy. Now, the ones I'm going to present to our guests are probably more difficult than this one. What do we do with Saquon Barkley? This is somebody who last year broke the all-time single-season rushing record, right? Going into the, of course, postseason up through the Super Bowl, beating out Terrell Davis. This year, with Kevin Patullo, offensive coordinator, things have not looked good. Now, the odd thing is, like, you still have Jeff Stoutland as one of the best offensive line coaches. I know the offensive line has been banged up, but Lane Johnson was back at practice. I also know that Denver has a good run defense. But we're getting Barkley under 80 here. Under 80, you see it right here on the screen. Saquon Barkley's minus 114, it's 79.5 at 80 plus. If you bet on a breakout game for Barkley, a 125, you're getting that at plus 450. 100 is plus money at plus 194. It's a tough matchup. I think the sentiment is overwhelmingly negative on Barkley and this offense right now. But there's a part of me that thinks I want to be early on Saquon Barkley, right? That I want to jump in on Barkley when he's at 79.5. Now, I will say, I don't think the books have adjusted down as much as you would typically expect. And that's what's probably keeping me, putting me a little gun shy here, because in many cases, like Saquon Barkley against Denver after 3 rough games, I would think that, you'd maybe be in the high 60s, but no, they still got him at 79.5. So if I'm betting this one, I'm probably climbing this to the top and hoping for just an explosion. Right? Like, I don't think I'd be satisfied with plus 186 or whatever it was at 100 yards. I think I'd just climb this one all the way to the top if given the opportunity. Because Saquon Barkley is good. If he breaks 1 or 2, which we've seen him do many times in the past, right? Like he can grind it out and pick up 4, 5, 6, 11 at a time. But when he has those games where he rips off 250, 60 yarders, what do you expect to happen? You're going to have monster games. you're going to get those 200 plus games that he put up 2 times against the LA Rams last year. It's just the type of player he is. And, G in the Twitter chat said he has to go off. No? Well, that's what I'm saying, man. It feels like he has to go off. I just don't know if the number is right yet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in my friend Mitch Carl, DFSnDonuts. Glad to have him here. You guys will be glad to have him here as well. Follow him over on YouTube at My Sparry Picks. His channel's blowing up. He does phenomenal content. And over on Tails, our platform, he has the biggest account over there right now. There's nobody bigger than our friend Mitch. 7,400 followers, and we just started this up recently. So happy to have you here, man. It's good to talk to you again.
As a very generous introduction, I do appreciate it immensely, and I absolutely love your take on Saquon Barkley. And I actually had him down as the first player I wanted to talk about today. So I love it, man. You kicked this off on the right foot.
All right, so just so everybody knows, we did not talk about Barkley pre-show. I don't like to give any guest any players. I don't want you to tell me who you're going with. I want to be blindsided, right? So tell me what it is about Barkley this week.
I also was just thinking, it just kind of hit me too. You being the Philly fan base, loving Saquon. My other player I want to talk about today was going to be James Cook for the Buffalo Bills as a diehard Bills fan. But I digress here. Saquon Barkley, I absolutely love the number because of the opening line at what it was, 77.5, 79.5. The fact that you can get all the way up to a plus 950 at plus 150 rushing yards is insane. This guy last season had 100 plus rushing yards in 14 of 18 games, Dave. What are we doing here? We have elite upside for this running back. And what I love about this spot specifically, we've already seen Jonathan Taylor against this good rush defense of the Denver Broncos pop off for a $165 in week 2 against Denver. Saquon is a little step ahead of what Jonathan Taylor is, who's a great running back in his own right. We also have not lost volume. The volume is there. He's getting 17, 18, 20, 21 carries in all 4 games. The pop-off just hasn't happened. Those long chunk yards, those 30-yard runs. This week, his longest rush is at 17.5. His rush attempts prop is also quite high, nearing 20. I just don't see why the volume and the skill have not changed, why we wouldn't start hoping for, riding the wave rather than chasing it.
I'm with you, man. And people talk about the lack of efficiency, like he's worn out after last season. I don't buy it. Like, I've seen some explosive runs. I saw a catch and run last week where he was very explosive in the first quarter down the sideline against Tampa. I don't think that's it. I think they have some problems with the play calling. And here's the thing, Mitch. This is why I'd rather be early and wrong than late and wrong, right? Because if you're late and wrong, your potential payout wasn't big enough anyway. At least if you're early and wrong, you're putting yourself in a position to get odds that you probably won't get again this season. I'm telling you right now, if Saquon Barkley pops off for 150 this week at home against Denver, you think you're getting 79.5 next week, Mitch? And what is it, like plus 450? What is it? Let me see what is what's his 150 at here?
920.
920. You think you're getting 920 on a 150?
Yeah, it's interesting, too. You start looking around at some of the other running backs that have had the type of upside that Saquon has. Derrick Henry, for one. And you look at him this week, his line starts at 87.5. And when you climb each rung of his ladder, it's not even close to what Saquon's is. No difference of volume. I'd argue he's in a better situation with a better quarterback and team surrounding him. At home, slight favorites. There's just too much to like here. I like it a lot.
All right. Talk to me about James Cook, and then I've got something for you.
Ooh.
I'm going to put you on the spot, but I unearthed something over on Bet365 that's going to blow your mind.
I can't wait. Let's talk James Cook, though. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo Bills, baby. That's right. Nobody circles the wagon like James Cook-led Buffalo Bills. My man has turned into a bell cow running back overnight. He's finally getting the carries. 132, 108, 117 yards in the last 3 games, and that's with 19-plus rush attempts in each. The Bills are favored by more than a touchdown at home under the lights, and there's nothing here that makes me scared of the matchup, nor do I care about the matchup when we're talking about these elite talents with a strong and heavy workload And it's something that's more projectable than maybe some other types of running backs. The Bills are going to try to run the football. This is not going to change. This is 2 years now with Joe Brady as the offensive play caller, and we know exactly what the Bills like to do. At home, they actually open up and run the football at a higher frequency than they do on the road. I think the Bills go out there on the road often, try to quiet down the crowd, play with some tempo, get Josh going in the no huddle. At home, it's ground and pound. They're going to start the game with 2 tight ends. They do it virtually every single game, and they're going to run the ball down the Patriots' throat, or at least they're going to attempt to do so. And James Cook is one of those slippery guys. You never feel like you're watching him look like he's running at an elite speed or with elite power or elusiveness, but he's constantly slipping tackles. I love the upside there, and very similar to why I like Saquon, Dave, is why I like James Cook. We get to start the ladder in the 70s. I mean, come on. The first rung of the ladder for James Cook is plus 100 for a running back with 20-plus touch upside out of the backfield for the best team in the NFL. I'm sorry to you, Philadelphia, Eagles fans. It's the Bills season, and it's James Cook leading them there this year. And I can foresee an Offensive Player of the Year award out there for him.
I could too, but I call a spade, Mitch. You'll be the best team when you can beat the Chiefs, okay? And if I recall correctly, there was one team this past February that kicked the Chiefs' dicks in. So we'll see. I also think the Bills, with a healthy Ed Oliver and Matt Milano, who are both back at practice, by the way, I do think they're probably the best team in the league. I actually mentioned that on one of my videos right here on Odd Shopper earlier this week. I do think the Patriots can keep this competitive, but it's also because I like Drake May, and I actually think this team is much better than they've given credit. Like, they should have beat Pittsburgh. They had 5 costly turnovers, self-inflicted wounds, just like the Jets against Miami last week. But if you get Ed Oliver and Matt Milano back this week, that just lends more credence to wanting to go to James Cook, right? Because now, like, with those 2 guys out, we saw what happened. New Orleans almost ran for 200 yards against Buffalo last week. That's insane, right? Had it not been for a failed Philly special, who knows? I mean, Buffalo still would have won. But point being, if you're taking the Patriots offense off the field and continuously have it in the offense's hands, James Cook's just going to get more than enough opportunities. It's that simple. All right, Mitch, I've got one for you. Now, I have a little segment that I've developed here.
Oh, boy.
And it's called Blood in the Streets. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the old Baron Rothschild, he said, and this quote is attributed, who knows if it was him, but that's what they say. I'm not one to fact check. The time to buy is when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your own. Now, Mitch, there's a lot of blood in the streets with a lot of players recently. Unfortunately, my own blood has not been spilled based on this player. I actually bet the over last week, and it hit by a yard. But the over, the prop line was 39.5 receiving yards. There is one guy on the Detroit Lions as a double-digit favorite facing the Cincinnati Bengals this week who is plus 700 for a 100-yard game. Jameson Williams on Bet365 is plus 700. Now, he is plus 360 on DraftKings. He is plus 500 on FanDuel. I'm not saying you got to do it, Mitch, but I need a verdict one way or another. 7-1 on a guy who could rip off multiple 50-yard plays in a day. What are your thoughts?
I mean, you had me at plus 700.
That's what I'm saying.
Jameson Williams.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm locking that in all day. That's a good one.
All right. Let me give you one more here. What do you do?
By the way, Dave,
Cam Ward.
I got to say, you set that one up. That was a softball pitch if I've ever seen one. You got to give me a tougher one here.
All right, I'll give you I got a great one for you, actually.
Let's hear it.
Because we don't know if Calvin Ridley's going to play. You want to talk blood in the streets? Here is some blood. The streets are flowing with blood on Cam Ward this week in Arizona. Now, there's no Trey Benson for the Arizona Cardinals, but maybe Marvin Harrison had some life injected back into him after that big second half last week. You still have Trey McBride. Arizona's defense and secondary, and some injuries back there. Cam Ward's passing yards prop is at 177
That's pretty low. Those are really tough spots. I don't like betting on these types of quarterbacks that I just don't believe in. So I think for me, if you want me to run a ladder out there or not, if that's the decision I got to make, I hit the eject button on this one. Interestingly enough, one of the quarterbacks I was going to mention for today was going to be Kyler Murray on the other side. If they struggle to run the football at all, maybe get a few extra possessions because of Cam Ward and that inefficient Titans offense. Maybe Kyler Murray and his passing yards could be a good look, or passing touchdowns.
What's he at right now? I mean, passing touchdowns is probably 1.5, right?
Yeah. But you're getting, I believe it was plus odds when I saw this last night.
Okay. And do you know what his passing yards were when you look?
I think it was like 227. Okay. Around there.
I really don't mind that. This game is weird because it could go in a couple of different ways. I don't think you or myself are particularly excited about Michael Carter, but could you see this being a game where Kyler simply uses his legs more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been running 30 plus rushing yards, I think, all 4 games, right? If that's the direction you're going, maybe a rushing a ladder for him. Guy like Justin Fields, same thing. There's plenty of upside from some of these quarterbacks. And I did just double check. It's at 219.5 on FanDuel right now. I don't love the spot. I do like it more than I like Cam Ward, though. I will say that.
Yeah, look, I was just trying to throw one at you, make it a little bit tough, because whenever I see somebody that's at 177 against the Arizona Cardinals defense, it's just an incredibly low number. Now, I pulled this one up, Mitch. Here you go. We got Kyler Murray rushing props for this week. 28.5, 29.5 on FanDuel, and Caesars 28.5 on DraftKings. I don't hate it, but here's why I don't love it, and why I won't bet it, I certainly won't ladder this. If Tennessee's defense continues to be as anemic as they've been, he just simply won't need to run. And that's always my concern with a dual threat mobile quarterback like Kyler Murray. Sure, he might escape from time to time and pick up some yards, but are you going to be under constant duress enough to where it matters? Are you going to have to play from behind and create yardage with your feet, with your legs? Until this Tennessee team, who may be down Calvin Ridley this week, which would leave Iomanner, who's been okay, but still a rookie, as their number one, along with Chigakonkwu. I just don't have enough faith in this Titans offense to push them.
I got one for you, Dave. I'm going to put the host on the spot. I'm going to throw you a curveball. You ready for this?
Let's go.
Let's go off the beaten path here. The guest is here taking over for a segment here.
Please do.
Nico Collins, my friend. And I wanted to hear your thoughts because you're one of my favorite people I follow on Tails. And I take your bets because I love the fact that you post them quickly and I can one-click them right into my app. It's the best thing on earth. And you're the best person to follow on there, in my honest opinion.
Thanks.
Nico Collins, you have right now at 71.5 yards. Matchup this week is insane. Do you like the ladder?
I was going to throw this one to you as well. I do. I actually had it prepared right here. If you wanted Nico at 100, it's plus 280, plus 110 yards. By the way, Bet365 typically has some of the best ladder odds. Make sure you shop around on these. If you're not shopping these alt odds, you're going to bury yourself and get. I promise you, it'll end poorly. 120 plus 550. I don't know, man. There's something about this that I always feel like John Harbaugh is just going to make me miserable. And if that ends up being the case, I don't know if I want it. Sorry, my screen froze up for a second there. I like the 71.5, Mitch, a lot. I'd probably play it up to 100. What was that? Plus 280. I like that. I don't know if I want to go much higher than that.
It's understandable. I get it. He's got the downfield opportunities. The long reception still sits at 24.5. He's hit the over in the last 3 games. Of course, that was a mark last year that people loved running based on their trends. The matchup is, it's up there as one of the best in the NFL this week. 270 yards per game the Ravens are giving up. So I get it. I love the spot, but I also agree with you. I don't know how high you can possibly take that ladder. It might not be one where you climb to, a middle or upper rung.
Have you seen the Ravens injury report? I mean, it's littered with red. You have Matt Abuke, who's done for the season.
Mm-hmm.
You have Marlon Humphrey, who's doubtful. Roquan Smith is doubtful. Now Kyle Hamilton is not practicing. I mean, it's just, the problem is, the reason I'm standoffish on this, it almost seems too good to be true. Like, to me, I see 71.5 on Nico, and I'm thinking, what? Like, that should be, minus 300. Obviously not, but there's something about it that's kind of, I'm backing off of it a little bit, because it feels like, given the matchup, and of course, the offense has been largely broken for the Texans this year as well. Maybe they fixed it a bit last week, but that's a Tennessee Titans team that I don't know how they haven't fired their coach yet. Callahan should have been gone after week 1. I don't think he actually knows the rules of the NFL. So typically that's a prerequisite to be a head coach. That's why I'm a little nervous. But that injury report, Mitch, it's really, really bad.
Yeah, it's extensive, and we're talking about crucial pieces. My only concern is just, can CJ get him the ball, and can the O-line hold up long enough?
Hey, man, I appreciate you. If you guys are not following Mitch over at Tails, you should do so. I mean, you're growing like crazy over there, dude. It's amazing. It's at DFSnDonuts picks. Just go to tails.bet. That's all you got to do. Click them in there. You post a lot of free picks. Like, I know you have premium stuff. You got a lot of free picks as well, though, that you've been posting in there. And at My Sparry Picks over on YouTube on top of that. Make sure to check them out. What do you got going on over on Tails for the people? Like I said, a lot of free stuff. It's appreciated.
There's a ton. I actually am going to pull that up right now as I was looking on the side of the Kyler Murray stuff. I just can't help myself. Now I want to know. My most recent one, I think, is an interesting one and potentially even a ladder-worthy play. So let's just throw that up there on the spot, is Omarion Hampton. It's the most recent bet that I had posted this morning. Took him at 91.5 rushing receiving combined yardage. And I think that he could easily climb that ladder. We're looking at a guy with 17 and 24 touches the last 2 weeks. Najee Harris out of the picture. And I got to think Harbaugh maybe wants to kind of let the pendulum swing back in the other direction of the type of offensive philosophy that he's known to have. And they're going to run, set up the play action for deep passes. The last 2 weeks, over 40 passing attempts for Justin Herbert in both weeks. Hampton shows elite upside. He's got great hands. He's going out there. He's racked up 11 receptions for over 90 yards in both games. And I think the Commanders are traveling into a city for a team that just lost a really bad game, took a fat L on the road to face the Giants. And this is a get-right spot for them, despite the fact that Jaden Daniels should be playing for the Commanders. And you could probably ladder his total yards up to 120, 130 and, ride the lightning.
Love it. Go find Mitch over on YouTube and over on Tails. Check out all the free stuff and join his subscription if you'd like as well. I know you got a ton of stuff and you've had a great season, so appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for this, Dave. It was a lot of fun.
All right, man. All right, so coming up next, an old friend of mine, making a little reunion tour here because I'll be on his show, the Swolecast, later today. I've been looking forward to this, genuinely. Davis Mattek on Twitter at Davis Mattek, and of course, follow his YouTube. Go subscribe on YouTube at Davis _Mattek, making it easy for me. What's up, brother? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, man. I just, I was thinking the other day, I actually told you this. I literally woke up out of like a dead slumber. I woke up and I was like, I should have David Loughran on my channel. Why have I not? Why have I not had Loughy _D? Kitchen's still working on getting you that handle, buddy. He's still working on it. He's his back channels. He's got it figured out.
Dude, I still check on that all the time. It's this random bloke in England who hasn't tweeted since like 2008. And I keep checking. All of his followers are people who think it's me. Eventually I'll get Loughy. I can drop the D. But yeah, man, I was excited to hear you hit me up the other day. And I thought, because I wanted to do something here live on X on YouTube and do ladders, like do something fun. I enjoy plus EV betting. I enjoy top-down betting, but I want to have some fun. I told you, come up with some good ladders. You and I worked together back in like 2015. I'm talking a decade ago. Spent some time together in Nashville. I believe we slept on opposite couches from each other in Kitchen's house. So,
we did.
Yeah. Hit me with one, because I got some for you. And I got a couple that I think you're going to appreciate. I kind of know you by now, and I know the type of bets you like to talk about, the type of players that you've fawned over going into the best ball season, right? And I think I got a couple, but give me somebody that we can ladder this week for the people.
All right. The first one I've got is actually probably not, you would not expect this one, but I was thinking about the Colts secondary and how they just have been like, Xavier Howard just retired. Like, what would be the right way to play that? And you can get pretty good ladder numbers on Trey Tucker or Dante Thornton. Either way you want to go there. But if you like take them from their base, I think Trey Tucker is 44.5 yards as like his median projection. And Dante Thornton, I think his median projection is like 22.5 yards, but you can get them up. Like you could take Trey Tucker to like 79.5 yards. You can take Dante Thornton up to 59.5 yards. You could toss that in there with a touchdown. Obviously the thinking being that if you were going to get, like if Trey Tucker has a 62-yard reception, it's probably ending in a touchdown. So those were the first two, and they're pretty gross, right? Every Trey Tucker had the 3 touchdowns last week, or 2 weeks ago, but no one wants to tail that.
No, but I kind of like spots like this. I'm a big fan of jumping on these type of spots when nobody else wants to. I mean, look, Tucker's at 41.5, Thornton's at 22.5. You and I have played DFS long enough to know sometimes you have to jump on when the public is totally against them. And maybe there's an opportunity here. Like this game could shoot out. I went on, I was like, I like the Colts minus 6.5, but this could end up being one of those odd games where the Raiders just, they compete. We saw it, dude. We saw it last night with a practice squad on offense for San Francisco.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. And it's 60 minutes. There aren't that many plays run. Anything's possible. If you had to take one, Trey Tucker, ladder him up to 80, which, I mean, the odds have to be astronomical. I'll look it up while you.
I think it was, because I was doing them on Underdog when I was looking earlier. And I think it was like the equivalent of like 8-1 or whatever on that. And then if you do a touchdown, you're going to get should be like 18 or 19 to 1 on that. But the thing that I really like about these guys, and this is a hard thing to do if you're a sports book, is to appropriately do median prices for guys who are going to see the ball so rarely. Like a 44-yard median, like how many times this year is Trey Tucker going to have in between 40 and 50 yards? Like probably like really rarely. He's probably really likely to have a bunch of 12-yard games and then 2 games where he gets, 80 yards. Or I mean, we've actually already seen it with him. So those are 2 spots I really like. And I would go Tucker. It kind of makes though for the perfect recipe for a ladder though, because like if he doesn't get the great thing about betting is it's a zero-sum game, man. If you get him at 41.5 and he finishes with 41, you lose the same amount of money you'd lose if he finished with 0. It doesn't matter. Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And the same thing where is if you're getting Trey Tucker and he gets you to 42, it's the same amount of money you'd win if he had 120. So why not ladder a guy like Trey Tucker to actually capitalize when he pops off?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like for lots of these guys, basically because like I don't do a lot of the top down like arb trading and stuff because first off, I had to drive over to Illinois. I got to drive about 15 minutes to go until December 1st. So it's actually coming.
Wait, where are you at now?
I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
When did you move to Missouri?
Like 4 years ago. Ish. Yeah. Time flies.
You were in Kansas and Kansas has sports betting.
Yes, Kansas. So all my buddies, all my friends, they can all do it. But no vig and player, like there would be ways to do it, but I'm just not super motivated to do it. So I just want I like to have I think I can play good and know where sports books are gonna have a hard time and not have I see you and Greg and Jay Kari, like I see you guys your pickets and stuff, you'll have 900 plays in on a weekend, and it's all like, you've got 3 cents of EV on everyone, and the page is green. It's like I'm down for it. I don't have the energy myself to grind that hard.
It's great for basketball because, like, over on OddsShopper, we just have where you can load 20 bets at a time, and just pop them in. Like, it's, you want to monitor it, but yeah, top down. But for NFL, dude, there's no more fun sport than originating your bets for the NFL. Like, I know that's NFL's your baby too. Right?
I love it.
Exactly. So there's something about top down, but also I watch and I understand football enough to where I think with these buy low spots, we can capitalize on opportunities. Now, I have a couple that I saved specifically for you. And I told Mitch, we have a segment here. I say that like I've done this show more than once and not just today. Right. And I didn't make this up a minute beforehand, which is why I have such a shitty graphic. The time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. So this is blood in the streets, Davis, even if it's your own. Now, this next guy, my blood is pouring down the streets from what I bet on him last week. I had him in DFS. I boosted him in our Sims, even though the Sims hated him. Mm-hmm. That man's name is McConkey.
Yep.
Dude, what do we do with him right now? Like, he's plus 450 to hit 100 yards this week.
Can you give me a price on what it would be? Over 100 yards, over 6 receptions with an anytime touchtouchdoon. That's got to be
okay. Yeah, of course I could do that.
That's got to be close to 30-ish, maybe a little bit less than that.
It's always tough because you have the correlation they're going to bake in. The
correlation penalty. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's check it out. So you want the 100 plus, you want 6+ receptions and an anytime touchdown?
And an anytime touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and obviously these are dependent events, so they're going to penalize you a little bit for that. But I'm so with you on this, man. I'm not letting Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston bury this guy because his peripheral metrics are all still good. He's like 5th in ESPN open score. His all of his route rates, or all of his route win rates, it all looks the same. The ball just hasn't really found him yet.
Yeah, like he's still getting open. He did have a couple drops last week, but
he did.
What did he have? Like 1,200 yards as a rookie or something, including that playoff game? What did he have? 200 yards in his first postseason game? Something crazy, right?
190 yards and a touchdown. Now, the touchdown, if you actually go watch it, was not impressive at all. Two defenders literally fell over, and he could have basically leisurely jogged into the end zone. But I'm not selling Ladd McConkey. No chance.
I can't do it yet. So that only gets you plus 801, unfortunately.
Just do the yards then.
Yeah, they'll hammer. Now, what I would recommend, check other books like Caesars correlation tax. Dude, they would mess up so bad, and you could do that and they'd give you 30-1. So check on certain books sometimes, because there's just an algo that's taking the correlation into account, and sometimes the algo is not as good as
that's just good advice in general. Is sometimes you can catch a spot on these sports books where they're 27-year-old, probably 22-year-old guy who's relying on ChatGPT to do his code. Just hasn't caught that thing yet. And if they haven't, so there was earlier this year, right when baseball season started, DraftKings, whatever idiot kid they hired to do their baseball code made a huge mistake with their same game home run parlay. So if you took it from 3 home runs to 4 home runs, it should have gone to whatever it was, I think 750x, but their thing broke and it treated it like there were 5 legs. So you were getting 2,000 to 1 on some of these things. And it took them weeks to fix it. Weeks.
Dude, when you find those leaks, you have to hammer them. And you
have to hammer.
You probably shouldn't tell anyone until they plug them, because the more it happens. But you know what? With a 4 home run prop, that's not true, because everyone's betting 4 home run parlays. Anyway.
Everyone's betting 4 home run props.
Doesn't
but
matter.
Not from the same game. It had to be from the same game.
Okay.
So if it was like, oh, I took Aaron Judge and I took Goldschmidt from the same game, but then I took Tyler Soderstrom and Langeliers, it would give you the right price. But when they were all from the same game, something inside their thing broke and gave you an extra leg of multiplication.
All right, so we're in on Lad McConkey, right?
Yes.
All right, here's one more. I really liked this last week. I hit a nice little Kendre Miller ladder up to 30. He was like plus 425. Well, I just think they're going to ease off the gas on Alvin Kamara, and I think they're going to trade him. And he's never going to play on a good Saints team for as long as he lives. There is no world where Alvin Kamara will be, unless you see it differently. Like, I don't see how Kamara could ever be still a quality running back and on a Saints team that is competing. It feels like they've got a little ways to go. Maybe you disagree, but we saw Kendre Miller get a big workload last week.
Yes, we did. I don't know if I actually think this is a good week to play Kamara in DFS. It's both of these two teams are top 5 in pace, but the total is only 41.5, which means these teams are just going to run. Like, this could be Kendre Miller could get 12 rushes and Kamara could get 20 in this game.
All right, so here's the good thing. That was this next one is not about Kendre Miller. It was to say that while I hit Kendre Miller, I missed on this other guy, and I had a larger bet on him, and I laddered him up to 100 rushing plus receiving. I was banking on the multiple Ramondre Stevenson fumbles, one into the Steelers' goal end zone, an Antonio Gibson fumble, two guys having insane fumble rates since they've come into the league. Trevon Henderson, Davis, against the Bills. Now, it does look like Ed Oliver and Matt Milano could be back. But if you wanted Trevon Henderson at 50-plus yards, it's 4-1. If you wanted 30-plus, it's plus money. What do you make of this Ramondre Stevenson, Trevon Henderson split going in as 8.5-point dogs against the Bills team that just ceded almost 200 rushing yards to the Saints in week 4?
I love it because the Bills give this stuff up on purpose. It's like their defensive philosophy. They're fine. It's like they're like bottom third percentile in explosive run rate allowed, like every year for like since McDermott has been their coach. It's like a philosophical thing, and their linebackers are slow too. So I like that one.
It's worth a shot. What do you think? Because dude, you remember Henderson in best ball? He got steamed up to like 40s, which is insane. I just was grabbing Stevenson late and like, hey, you know what? Who knows what's going to happen here? But do you think there is a point in the season where we do get a really good buy low spot on Henderson? And like, could it be this week? Or do you think that Stevenson is still like a, I know Gibson's in there. So like a 60, 30, 10 type split.
Oh, I mean, it could happen literally any week. Like, it could happen the second that Mike Vrabel decides that he wants to take things seriously and win football games. Henderson's going 60% of the touches. Like, playing Antonio Gibson is not serious.
No.
You know, I'm sure he doesn't. Like, Vrabel is... He's probably freaking teammates with some of these guys, you know, like he's not trying to ruffle too many feathers in there right now. And I actually liked what he said. He's like, what am I going to do? Going to bench Drake May? He had 2 turnovers. Ramondre had 2 turnovers too. But the tricky thing has just been Henderson's not been very good. He's like explosive run rate, yards after contact, so kind of whatever. He will obviously get better and he will be rewarded. Like if he comes in this game against the Bills and in the first quarter has a nice pass block and a 12-yard reception and a tough run up the middle, the coaches are going to reward that because they want to win. These dudes don't want to get fired. Vrabel does not want to get fired year one. He's been wanting this job probably for a decade, you know.
I actually think the Patriots are a decent football team is the thing. Like
they are.
They are. And you get Christian Gonzalez back. Their run defense isn't bad. I'm a believer in Drake May. Stephon Gibbs appears that he still has a pulse, right? We saw that last week. Like they have got, I hate to use kind of like the age-old trope of, well, you know, it's hard to break out when you're used as a change of pace back. But I do wonder, you know, you have these certain guys that 5-6 runs, you pick up a couple of yards, you may even lose a few, and then you break off the 50-yard run or the 50-yard catch and run. I wonder if Henderson just needs more work to get that done, given that you're saying he hasn't been efficient.
I mean, it would be nice for him to get more work, but he probably will have to play better. Like the reality is they're not going to just be like, all right, man, we're going to give you 18 touches in this game because we took you in the second
Right, let's
round.
see what you can do. Yeah.
He will have to be like, make some good runs. Like, and the pass blocking stuff is pretty big too.
Davis Mattek. Yo, go follow Davis, by the way, if you haven't done so yet, over on the Twitter. On Twitter at Davis Mattek, on YouTube at Davis_Mattek. What else you got going on, man?
Well, we're gonna go do the show over on the Swolecast here in about 15 minutes. I'll see you guys over there. But yeah, I mean, I'm live every day on YouTube. We're doing a bunch of DFS stuff, bunch of underdog stuff. Gotten really into the draft games over there. They're real fun. And all the good. If you really care about fantasy football, I'm your guy.
Gotta get you over on Tails. We'll talk. We'll talk. Anyway, appreciate you, man. I will see you in 14 minutes.
Yeah, see you in a little bit. Later. Bye.
All right, that's it. There we go. We've got some good ones today on the top run. We'll be back next week. Of course, if you missed them, Jameson Williams, 7-1 for 100 yards against the Bengals is truly an insane spot. Davis and I talked about Lad McConkey. You laddering him up to 100. You want to talk about the most ultimate buy low spot. Whether he hits or not is irrelevant. At plus 450, I'm taking a bite out of that apple. Mitch loved Saquon Barkley when he was on earlier. You can get 150 yards. This is FanDuel, but on DraftKings, I think it's 13-1. So shop your odds. Make sure to be wise about that. And as always, if you just want to get access to free bets, all of my free bets throughout the entirety of the year, that will not change ever. All of my free bets, everybody's free bets, go over to Tails, right? You want Mitch's. I told you, Mitch has been dominating this season. He's over there posting a ton of free picks. You want Ben Rasa, anybody else, go to the Explore page, scroll them all. Don't pay a cent. Don't put your credit card in. It is just a free account. Follow, turn on notifications for whoever you want. We've got a brand new leaderboard so you can see who's the fastest growing, who has the longest active profit streak. All of that stuff at tails.bet. Link in the description. We'll see you guys over there, and I will catch you back here for the next one. Bye-bye.